What's up, people? This is DJ.
Hey, mi gente, this is Ish.
And this is season 2 of Pero Let Me Tell You.
Salsa, mi salsa es caliente, la miel de mi fuente goza y baila mi gente.
Yeah, we're not like, not Instagram thirsty.
Oh, well. We'll get to the Instagram thirsty a little later in this conversation.
Ooh, is that a topic? Oh, conversation?
Oh, yes.
Really?
Oh, yes. So...
Well, welcome back, listeners.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. And I realize that half of our listeners are not going to get that reference. Mr. Carter.
But I like to think they might go out and look it up.
It was a Welcome Back Carter reference.
Yes,
John
absolutely,
Travolta.
absolutely.
So welcome to
back.
season 2 of Pero Let Me Tell You.
Yes, 2019. I was just saying before we started recording, like, I know I've seen you since the new year, but I feel like I haven't.
I know.
Like, not really.
I know. Because, you were away from me.
It's true. We were separated by state lines.
And you come back and my hair is gone.
Yes, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
I cut my hair,
hairless
ladies
elephant.
and gentlemen. I cut all my hair off.
Well, not all of it.
Well, okay, no, I'm not bald, but I cut my hair. I took the big leap, and here it is.
Yes, he has the hipster flop.
No, I have the Julian Edelman.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know anything. Julian Edelman he plays for the New England Patriots.
Oh,
so he's a football player.
Okay.
And he's known for his hair. And
he?
He's had long hair, he's had short hair, and he has really cool hairstyles. That's all I'll say. So he was my hair muse when I was like...
And I think that's the only time you'll say that about the Patriots?
Yes, because I don't like the Patriots, but we're not going to get into that because we don't want to lose viewers
That's true.
in the New England area.
That's true.
I'm sorry, listeners. Yes. We don't want to lose.
Super Bowl around the corner.
2019, here we are, season 2. We never thought we would get to a season 2, but here we are.
Here we are. Face to face.
And thank you so much for all of you.
Sticking through.
For sticking through. And, as we said in our final episode of our first season, the Christmas episode, which we loved. I loved the Christmas episode. Was one of my favorite consensus. Ones. We never thought the podcast would get as far as it did and have the feedback and the listeners that we acquired throughout the past year. And again, thank you so much for all the support, and thank you for, keep the ride along with us. So
let's keep this ride going. I mean, we're hard at work on season 2. We actually just had a fantastic interview before we started this that I'm so excited about, but I won't say anything more about it.
We should tell them who are in our next episode.
I don't know. Like, I want to, but I want to keep the. I don't know.
I don't know. I think we should tell them because it's a big one.
It is a big one. Or should we just keep saying it's a big one?
We'll tell them at the end of the episode. So, also, as you know, we are having a contest where we are giving away 3 T-shirts from the Que Vola podcast that Darwin Figueroa was nice enough to give us.
Fresh.
So, by the end of the episode, we are going to give the word that you need in order to win the T-shirts, and the first 3 people to DM us with the word. I think it's the password.
I almost feel like saying saying the word is almost like a tip of the hat to our guest for next week.
That would be true. So, as you saw on our Instagram page, we're giving away three T-shirts. So whoever the first 3 people to DM us with the word, we're going to give towards you later in the episode. You will win these fabulous T-shirts. And
somebody's going to mishear this and literally just DM us with the
word.
Yeah.
La frase, la clave. So here we go, season 2.
La clave que paga.
Season 2, we have a new look, a new logo.
Yes.
Dale, what are we talking about?
Oh my God,
you did some traveling.
I did do some traveling. I was recently in Vegas.
I did some traveling too, but my traveling was not as exciting as yours because we ended up on to make the long story short, we ended up on a mountain, and my dad couldn't breathe because of the altitude. Among all things,
he's fine.
But yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We were in North Carolina. It's okay. We made it back. But I'm more excited about your trip to Las
Vegas. Vegas. Yeah. And as I'm sure our listeners saw, because I was posting, a couple pictures here and there. We were, Beto takes Las Vegas. Went there for my boyfriend's birthday. And it was myself, him, and his friend Eastland. And the main reason we went out there is because he wanted to go see the new live in Las Vegas Lady Gaga residency.
Stephanie has a residency.
We went to go see Steph.
You went to go see Stephanie. Okay.
Yeah, we went to go see Stephanie. So, okay. I respect her as a performer, as a singer, as an artist. She is very talented. She's you can't take that away from her, right? She's Oscar nominated now, twice Oscar nominated for music and acting. But I don't drink the Lady Gaga Kool-Aid.
No.
I don't drink the Monsterade.
The Monsterade?
No, I don't drink the Monsterade.
The Monster Mash?
The Monster mashed potatoes I do not eat.
No.
No. The biggest issue I have with Lady Gaga is that nobody believes Lady Gaga's hype more than Lady Gaga. Okay? So let's start off with the fact that her show is called Enigma.
Okay.
Like, not Return to Innocence. Have you seen the picture? The promo picture for it?
Isn't it like green? There's a lot of green.
Okay, it could be me in that picture.
Yeah.
There's nothing about it that says Lady Gaga. And then all of her merchandise, because I stayed in the same hotel where the concert is, so we had the little store. All the merchandise, it looks cheap. It's just that horrible Enigma logo on the front. And then on the back, it's like either her picture or it just says like Lady Gaga, Las Vegas, which, by the way, as we left the concert, I found a keychain on the floor.
Oh yeah.
So I have a keychain.
There you go. You got your merch.
I got my merch, but I feel like it was very cheap. So for those of you who don't know, the entire conceit of the show is,
honestly, before we go there, the poster, because it's like her glow in the dark, right?
Right, but
it reminds me of the video of Wake Me Up Before You Go and the glow in the dark segment. But just saying.
The thing is that it could be anybody under there.
Yeah.
No,
but it's Mother Monster.
But like Jose's friend was like, it kind of looks like Beyonce. Like it could be anybody. Like it could be Pia Zadora. Who knows?
Okay. Our first Pia reference.
Our first Pia reference, and I was in Vegas where she has a resident. She has her own her restaurant. So the whole conceit is that Gaga is about to do a Vegas show when she's confronted by her enigma.
Wait, there's like a storyline to the show?
You asked this as if you've never seen anything by Lady Gaga.
Okay.
Of course there's a story. That bitch goes to Target and has a story.
Okay.
So, we get there and Lady Gaga is descended from the ceiling. Actually, it's really cool. She comes down playing a keytar, which I haven't seen since about 1987 in the Gem cartoon. And so she gets lowered and she's with her dancers and they're doing the whole thing, whatever. Then the video screen pops up and it's this robotic looking thing, and she's called Enigma. Now, Enigma, the first thing is, Enigma goes through this whole thing like, well, who are you? What's wrong? And it's like, I am Enigma. I am your soul and your innermost blah, 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 blah. To which Lady Gaga's first reply is, but why do you sound like me? I'm like, bitch, she just told you she's your soul. Who is she going to sound like? Sam Jackson? I mean...
I'm very intrigued.
No. So, also, Lady Gaga does this thing throughout the entire show that is very Madonna-like. Surprise, surprise.
Is it reductive?
It's reductive, but it's more annoying. She seems very amused by the fact that she can curse. Like the entire show.
Does she just say motherfuckers for the sake of saying motherfuckers?
Like the entire show, she's just like, what the fuck? Fuck you, fuck it, fuck. I'm like, wow, so she's 10.
Okay.
She just discovered the word.
It's so funny you say that, you made that reference to Madonna, because Madonna's always saying motherfuckers, and she says it for like no reason.
Yeah.
Like, she's not making a statement. It's like, okay, what's up with the, not that I'm prude or I'm like offended by profanity, but what's up with the excess profanity?
Yeah, it's like, pass the breadsticks, motherfucker. It's like, calm down, Madonna, it's the Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just, when you're here, your family. We don't need that type of profanity.
Exactly.
Okay. So...
I love that you took notes.
I did. I took notes. I was like, hold on. Porque esto, I'm not going to remember it.
Yeah. La Gaga.
So, whatever. So, all of a sudden, now she's like, oh no, I'm being transported. The entire time when she does that whole I'm being transported or where am I thing, literally sounds like Judy Garland in Wizard of Oz. She's always like, where am I? Oh no. Auntie Em, I'm so scared. Like, it's like, shut up, Gaga. So whatever. So she gets transported, and then she comes back out in a new outfit. Surprisingly, she only had like 3 outfit changes, which is very un-Gaga-like, right? So she comes out in another outfit. She's just like, what the fuck? What am I wearing? Is this my name on the back? Literally has gigantic L, gigantic G. Jose leaned over to me. He's like, no, that's just being sponsored by LG.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not your name at all.
LG Electronics.
Right. Right. Clearly. So, whatever. Then she goes into applause.
Okay.
And, a couple songs, whatever. At which point she says probably the most honest thing she's ever said in her life, which is when she turns to the audience and she says, fan me. I'm like, but of course. Because, you live for the applause, but you also live for their undying adulation. Okay?
Did she sing Do What You Want With My Body?
She did not.
Okay, we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
She did not. Actually, it stuck out like a sore thumb.
Do what you want with my body. Okay.
Yeah, at which point she then, like, the dancers all start, like, giving her the middle finger. Like, she's standing in the middle, and they're all surrounding her with the middle finger. And she's like, fuck me. Fuck you. You tell me to go fuck myself? And she goes on this whole fuck tirade. At which point she then, like, licks the middle finger of the person, like, who's within video shot. And I'm like...
Madonna's done that too.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like I turned to Jose and I'm like, is this just Blonde Ambition, the sequel? Is that what I've paid for? Because I mean, I'm okay with that. I just want to know.
If she did a song on a red bed humping it, maybe we would have been like, okay, yeah.
Maybe. So then, never mind the fact that at this point in the video, she has an animated version of herself. Right? Which looks very anime, very Japanese, which normally I'd be like, okay, whatever. If it wasn't for the fact that literally across the street you have Queen of Harajuku, Gwen Stefani performing. And I'm like, damn it, can't she have that?
Okay, so in other words, correct me if I'm wrong.
Right.
You came out of this thinking, mira que esta Lady Gaga habla mierda.
I thought that before and now more so. But
right?
I haven't even gotten to the part where
okay. Tell me more.
So then, she keeps going. The Enigma robot video person, whatever, keeps saying things that are supposed to be deep but aren't. Like, if you look inside, you'll find yourself. Like, that type of bullshit. And she's just like, but what does it mean? And I'm like, listen, if you can't figure that one out, I can't help you. I just can't. I mean, we're done. Then she had a bit of bad luck because so when the show started, you could hear that there was problems with the power. And during an interlude where she was supposed to be changing, the sound completely went out for like everything but the drums, which is a new band that's going to tour with Everything But the Girl. And and so I felt kind of bad for her at that point. But then she goes into one of her little tirade thingies where she's, at this point, she brings out the piano. We're going to get Lady Gaga at the piano. This is her thing, At this point, she completely abandons any pretense that she's still involved in the whole Enigma storyline because now she's just addressing the audience directly. And she says, like, I'm just not comfortable with being called, a celebrity because, I'm an artist and blah, blah. And I'm like...
Cry me a river.
Seriously, get over yourself.
Cry me a river.
To which... 10 minutes later, she actually said, for those of you who don't know, I'm also a jazz singer. And I'm like, wait, I thought you were an artist. I'm very confused now. This is the whole Enigma. I don't know what's happening. Which I actually do think is cool. She's doing a dual residency, essentially. Like, no. So the Enigma show is the big spectacle, but then she's also doing like a stripped down, unplugged version certain days. Okay. Where it's just her and the piano.
Actually, Justin Timberlake also did that. But go ahead.
Justin Timberlake. Really? She's ripping JT now?
No. Justin Timberlake in his... I forgot the name of the tour, but when he toured for Future Sex Love Sounds, he would have a show... He would have his show, his big arena show. Right. But then either on... I forget if it was nights off or later... that evening, he would then have another show in like a bar or a club or a very small venue where it'd be like acoustic, completely stripped out, just him in a small band in a small venue.
This is like she'll do 2 days of the spectacle and then 1 day of a jazz show and then 2 days. So it is a dual residency, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, no, that is cool
because most people just do the one show.
It's reductive, but it's really cool.
It's reductively cool,
and you could kind of make an argument that Madonna beat her to that too.
Did she?
Oh, yeah, she did. During her last tour, in the Rebel Heart tour, Madonna had a few dates where she did her clown act.
Oh yeah, that thing.
But it's kind of like the same concept. But go ahead.
Okay.
Reductive.
Then I was there for the night that she went on her tirade against VP Mike Pence.
Oh, okay.
Did you read about that? Did you hear about that?
No. I don't really pay attention to what she says.
But sometimes things just pop up. So she's in the middle of, what is it? Million Reasons? That's her song? Million Reasons, right?
Giving me a million reasons. Give me a million reasons.
Now, when you think of A Million Reasons, what is that song about?
Well, I would go ahead and think that it was about love,
right,
or a relationship, but with her you never know, because when she wore the meat dress, and then she got shit for wearing the meat dress, she said it had to do with the don't ask, don't tell policy in the military, which, you know, I have a very open mind and I'm very imaginative. How one has to do with the other, I'm not sure, but whatever, Stephanie, go ahead.
Well, she thought it was the right moment to go on a tirade against the president, Mike Pence's wife, for working at a school that's anti-LGBT, about how he's not Christian, how she's a Christian woman, she understands what Christianity is all about. And I was like, did I miss something? Like, did I miss where this shifted? Because again, had she gone into that horrible song Imagine by John Lennon and gone into that tirade, I'd be like, bueno, okay, está bien. Like, she's talking about,
so did she say that A Million Reasons was about that?
It's not that she said it. It's just that she literally kept interrupting her own song to go on this tirade. Okay. Like, I don't get it.
Do I get to talk now about what my issues with Stephanie are?
Right after this. So the last thing I will say is, so she leaves. She does her Born This Way is the last number. She goes back for an encore, but it's a big hit.
Yeah.
Her encore is the song from Stars Born Shallow, which, aside from Celine Dion, I don't think anybody should end a concert with a ballad. Like, no, why? But I love that before she goes into it, she comes out and she says, you know, you guys are my real fans, and, you know, back when I started, you've seen me through it all, because people thought all of it, the music, the lyrics, the costume, were all shallow, and it wasn't.
Nobody thought that.
It was deep.
Nobody thought that.
Nobody
Who thought that?
Nobody thought that.
Exactly. She was always giving credit for, you know, being so avant-garde and all that.
Exactly.
Like, who thought that?
Exactly. and then she goes into singing the song Shallow, which is not deep at all, because it's not like she made you think about anything. She's like...
So, Stephanie... First of all, I don't want any hate from any little monsters out there who listen to us. While we appreciate you listening to us, you know, little monsters.
I just take a sip of water.
I don't hate Lady Gaga. I think Lady Gaga is super, super, super talented. She's probably one of the most talented artists that have come out in the last 10 to 15 years. I mean, the girl can write songs. She's a performer. She's a performer.
Absolutely.
She puts on a hell of a show. She could play instruments. I mean, as an artist, I give her a lot of credit. And, you know, she did, and she's right. She's very versatile, because she did the whole
Tony Bennett
jazz album, which was fantastic. She could do, obviously, dance music. She could do that todo. Right. So as an artist,
you can't take it away from her.
You can't take it away from her, because she's legit. My problem with Lady Gaga has always been la mierda que habla ella. Because let's go back.
Pero it's again, hasta en eso she's like Madonna.
Let's go back, and we're going to transition from Lady Gaga to another topic that I wanted to bring up. Yes. So this will be our transition. Okay. When Lady Gaga came out with Born This Way, okay, ¿te acuerdas that she would go around saying how when she was in high school, she felt like an outcast, and she felt like so fucking weird, and that she didn't belong, and oh my god, and now she was like, everything she went through, she was giving it to her little monsters, and I'm like, really, Lady Gaga? That's called adolescence, right? You know, that's called
the ages of 13 to 18.
That we all went through that, Stephanie. So when you were, where is she from, Long Island? When you were in Long Island in your Catholic school, that your parents, you know, were an upper middle class family in your Italian restaurant, you know, that I've seen her yearbook pictures, and she would wear Abercrombie and Fitch and all that stuff. She was like a cute, preppy Catholic girl. Right. You know, when you were going through that horror, you know, so were your classmates, and so was I, and so were you, and so were most people in high school, right? But then she made it all about herself. Like,
she loves playing the victim.
She loves playing the victim. And then, you know, otra vez, the meat dress. When she wore the meat dress, okay, That meat dress was freaking insane. Like, everybody was talking about the meat dress the same day, the next day, whether you thought it was crazy or whether,
but whatever,
she pulled it off.
Right.
But I mean, obviously she got some blowback from like PETA and all that stuff. Coño, own it. Say that you wore the meat dress because you like to push envelopes, push boundaries and whatever. But instead, this ridiculous explanation.
But even that, because it's one of those things where, again,
that it has to do with gay soldiers and like,
right. But she thinks she's more. She wants people to think she's more clever than she is, because it's like, I'm gonna wear the meat. Taking away that. Her initial thing was, I'm wearing this meat dress because that's how we're treated as commodities in Hollywood as women. I'm like, right? You're not that clever.
My thing with her is that she wants to be groundbreaking, and to me, she has yet to be groundbreaking.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And remember, you and I used to have this conversation when she first started. She was like, "I'm gonna be a gay icon if it kills me." Like, and I'm like, I feel that performers that become gay icons organically. They don't come up and say, I will be a gay icon, period.
That's one of the only subtle things Madonna's ever done.
So I don't, and look, I don't necessarily think she copies Madonna. I don't think she sits there.
It's just inevitable. I mean, there's
the thing with her is that the other day I was watching, because it came up randomly on YouTube, the video to Alejandro.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when she was being weird for the sake of being weird, because there's nothing weird about that song. For God's sake, it sounds like an Ace of Base song, Alejandro. But she, the video is like all weird and, whatever. And there's a scene where at the end, she kind of has like a blonde bob and she's wearing like a black vest and black pants. Two things.
All I can think of now is Ace of Base's song Experience Pearls.
Wow. Okay. Don't turn. Actually, after I finished watching Alejandro, I then watched the parody.
Oh yeah, with the
La Concha. Why is that MIA? These sounds like 90s music. Whatever. Anyway, and there's a scene there that, when I saw it, I'm like, oh my God, that's totally Madonna. But then I started thinking, no, Madonna's never actually had a video like that.
Right.
And then I go, the thing is that because Madonna are similar artists in the sense that they push boundaries, they push buttons, they're provocative.
They're Italian.
And because Madonna has done everything there is to do before her, then there's inevitable. Going to be inevitable, right? Similarities. I don't think Lady Gaga sits there and you know what? And I'll go out and say this: I love Madonna. I think Lady Gaga is actually more talented than Madonna, especially as a musician.
Much better singer.
And I mean, I'll just go out there and say that. Although I prefer Madonna. So that's why it's no hate to Lady Gaga, pero ella habla tanta freaking porquería. Do you remember that Born This Way therapy bus bullshit,
Oh, that was her foundation.
Yeah, it's
okay, so about
come to my concert, but before you go to my concert,
let's talk about depression.
Let's talk about depression in the bus. It's like, what?
That's like the worst episode of MTV's Next.
So, here's where our transition comes to. So, she had been on my good graces for a while now. Okay. Because I saw A Star Is Born, and as I told you before, I don't think it's Academy Award winning material in terms of the movie and the acting. Right. I thought the movie was good, and I give it a thumbs up. I don't think it's Best Picture material, and I don't think him and her are Best Actor or Best Actress material, although it was good.
But it's a good narrative.
The music is great. I'll give her in the music. Mm-hmm. So she had been in my good graces lately. Uh-oh. And más tarde más temprano la tenía que cagar. So now, and this is where we're transitioning. Let's transition into R. Kelly.
Let's go. Oh, R. Kelly.
R. Kelly. So obviously,
he's kind of been in the headlines.
A little bit. So, Surviving R. Kelly is
the
documentary.
Doing the Las Vegas residency.
It's a documentary that premiered in Lifetime earlier this month, and it's been extremely controversial.
Oh God,
and
that was only at the beginning of January.
Yeah, it's only been
I feel
for
like
a few
it's
weeks.
Been
you know why?
ago.
Well, I'm going to get to that.
Look,
why.
I mean,
so Lady Gaga, and what?
All the episodes ran one after the other.
Well, it came out on Netflix. On Lifetime, I think, there was like 1 week, and then
right.
on demand you could...
No, but that's why I'm saying it wasn't like it came out one episode a week.
No.
It was like, boom.
So, she, as many of you may know, she did this song a few years ago called Do What You Want With My Body with R. Kelly. Mm-hmm. And I absolutely love that song.
Who was the director? Was Terry Richardson for the video?
No estoy seguro. No estoy seguro.
It was another controversial person.
That video was banned. But that video was banned years ago. It was never released.
It was never released, but not because of R. Kelly.
No,
it was because of the director.
No, it wasn't released because of the content of the video. Because in the video, there's a scene where she's like goes under because he's a doctor.
Oh yeah.
And she's like under anesthesia, and he starts to fondle her essentially.
So it's Bill Cosby.
So, but my issue isn't even with the video. She did the song with R. Kelly. The song was a hit. They performed it several times. I distinctly remember when they performed it at the American Music Awards, where he was the president. Oh, it was like when they did it in the AMAs. It was this whole setup that she was like Marilyn Monroe, and he was the president. And they made a mock Oval Office, and it was like a very iconic performance of the song. And she totally promoted that song with him. And again, I love that song. I'm a big fan of R&B music, so that was totally up my alley, and I liked R. Kelly, so I always thought the combination was a little weird, but I liked the song. Okay, well, now in the wake of all these allegations against R. Kelly, which are allegations that have always existed and have always been there. This is nothing new. The thing is that it was just put in a 5-part documentary, but nothing in that documentary is new. You know, she releases this statement, and this is why that statement was the embodiment of why I clash with Stephanie. She said something along the lines of like, oh, being a victim of sexual abuse myself, I was in a very dark place when I did that song.
I'd never heard that she had been a victim.
And I was in a very dark place, and I was still trying to figure it out. And, you know, I was still very early in my music career.
No, you weren't.
And that was like her 4th album, right? Art Pop was like her 4th album, right?
3rd. 4th if you count Fame Monster.
Fame Monster. No. Born This Way.
I don't count Fame Monster as an album. That was
okay. Well, 3rd, 4th album, whatever. She wasn't a rookie, right?
Right.
And I had really bad judgment at the time, and obviously I can defend R. Kelly because I was a victim. So essentially,
right.
Instead of making a statement,
she should have been on the documentary.
Instead of making a statement like, like many people, I grew up listening to R. Kelly, and R. Kelly was an iconic R&B figure. And I worked with him in whatever year. Right. I cannot, however, defend these actions or these allegations, and therefore I'm distancing myself from the song.
Right.
Bam. But instead, it was about her. Right. About her. And it's like, Stephanie, really? Like, I mean, even in this situation, I mean, you promoted the hell of that song. You freaking ate that song. That song was a hit. Oh, no, but it was bad judgment because you were in a very dark place. You were dating Tyler, what's his name, from Chicago PD or Fire at that moment, and you were talking about how happy you were in your relationship, really, and now you're gonna go back and tell me that no, you were in a very dark place, and because you made really bad judgment calls, really. So whatever. So
what did you think about the documentary?
Okay, so we're gonna get a little controversial here.
Are we? I mean, it's Lifetime. Who thought Lifetime?
I know, right?
Lifetime.
So that documentary, I think the documentary is very well done. And for those of you who have not seen it, I urge you to see it.
I saw it in one night.
Surviving R. Kelly. It's 5 parts. You could watch it on the Lifetime app.
On demand.
So basically, the documentary, you know, they interview the victims of R. Kelly. All these,
but they also interview, which I thought was fantastic, his family.
Yes,
because they tried in their own weird way.
They humanized and demonized him,
right? Which is
they humanized and demonized him.
I didn't know he was illiterate.
He was.
He is.
Yeah, he was illiterate.
I didn't know that.
And he could barely read or write. Yeah. So here's my problem with the public reaction to the Surviving R. Kelly. Okay. Because you know that we live in a bandwagon society, and you know something that has always existed, but then all of a sudden it's a problem.
Right.
You know the saying, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them?
Yep.
Okay. R. Kelly has always shown us who he is. Right?
True.
Let's not forget, that R. Kelly married Aaliyah when Aaliyah was 14, 15 years old.
Yep.
And he was 27. And I remember all of us talking about it. Okay?
It was not a secret.
Then, it was not a secret. Then, a few years later, was the whole thing with the peeing on the girl and the child pornography charges. That made headlines all over the world. Okay? And people still defended him. Okay?
Right.
This whole rumor now that he's had these girls locked up in his house, that's been going around for a few years now. Now, I don't know, because as I said, I'm very into R&B music. I read the Source magazine. I'm very into all of this. I have always known of that. And everything that came out in that documentary, I knew.
Wasn't
obviously, you know, you're hearing first-person accounts from the victims that we didn't know.
Right.
But everything in that documentary, I knew. I remember, okay, and you remember this too.
I'm laughing because when was the last time we saw Sparkle?
Bueno, I was going to go there.
I forgot that's who that was.
I love that song. That song is on You Better Be Careful. Again, I'm a big fan of R&B. And that song is like on repeat. I've always loved that song. And I knew, because I remember when that song came out, Sparkle he had signed Sparkle onto his record label or management company or whatever.
No, his label.
And Sparkle was going to be his project, the next best thing.
Protege, that's what
yeah, and that song came out. That song was somewhat of a hit. You Better Be Careful.
Big hit.
And then Sparkle disappeared. And a few years later,
we find out
why. I know why. I know why. And again, this wasn't hidden. This was all over the news.
Right.
So now people are like so outraged. And I'm like, okay, but where have you been in the last 20 years? This R. Kelly has always shown you who he is. Now, if that came out of like, you know, Josh Groban or like John Legend, I would find out those things. I'd be like, whoa, wait, what? Michael Bublé. You know, if I found out that Michael Bublé was peeing on little girls and you know I'd be like, wait, what? Okay, but R. Kelly, I mean, we have always known that. It's been no secret. So why people now are outraged baffles me. And you know what? I'll never forget. And okay, I remember...
I'm now thinking of some really horrible, like, adult contemporary tag team with Groban and Bublé.
Oh, God. And I think I even may have had this conversation with you many years ago. I remember when Step in the Name of Love and Ignition came out, which those were monster hits.
That was like, what,
2002, 2003. That was from the album The Chocolate Factory.
Right.
R. Kelly was facing child pornography
and he was
charges.
Releasing music. And he didn't care.
Okay, and he was releasing music, and it was a huge hit. Not even Michael Jackson was able to pull that off.
That's true.
Okay, because when Michael Jackson's career never recovered from the child sex scandal. It never did. It never did. Coño, and in the middle of this, you know, child pornography, there was a video. There was a video. Right. It wasn't like, you know, people were talking. There was a video, which we all saw. In the middle of this, people were buying his records. His songs were going to number one. Yeah. They were huge hits. So now you're coming and telling me, oh my God, I'm so upset that he was doing that. I'm like, okay, unless you were living under a rock or you were living in like, I don't know, like Russia or like some country where they don't allow Western music. Like, I don't understand how you could like, it's selective outrage. It's selective outrage.
Do you think it's selective outrage or it's just a different time? Quote unquote.
In my head, it is.
No.
It is a different time. It is a different time. Now with the Me Too movement, we're very sensitive about certain things before we let it slide. But these charges are extreme.
Oh no, I'm not disagreeing with you.
I mean,
well, but you know what's funny? You say living under a rock. You know, Jose didn't know about the peeing thing.
I don't know. I don't understand. I don't know how he could not know that.
Because when I said, I'm like, hello, they even did a skit on Chappelle's show, and he's like, no, I didn't.
That was in the news everywhere. You know, and again, if it would be a situation of like, oh, you know, R. Kelly fondled me or R. Kelly kissed me, right. You know, and now we're like, you know. That could be something that it's like, okay, now in the Me Too movement, people are speaking up about how inappropriate that is. Right. But what you're talking about are things that are disgusting. Like, are just, I mean, whether it's pedophilia or like, you know, perversion, I mean, they are disgusting. They've always been disgusting.
Not that we hate any of our listeners who may enjoy peeing or being peed on.
You know, well, but not, and the thing was that these weren't like 18, 19-year-old girls.
Right.
They were like 13, 14, you know?
Oh, but the interview with, I forget the guy now, that he's just like, do you like teenage girls? And he's like, what do you mean by teenage?
Yeah.
Like he had to ask for clarification.
The interview with Touré.
Right.
Yeah, which was his first like big
right
interview, right after he was acquitted, and he was acquitted.
You just faced child pornography charges. You say no,
and he was acquitted because he paid off the family of the girl in the video,
Sparkle's
so
niece.
she wouldn't testify. He paid her off. Everybody knows he paid her off. Yeah. So again, you know, it's one of those things of the Me Too movement that I personally like. It's hard for me to reconcile because, again, I've always made it very clear I'm totally for the Me Too movement, but I think that in order for the Me Too movement to be successful and to be lasting, we have to be honest with ourselves. And that means that we have to call out hypocrisy for what it is. And we were all hypocrites. Well, I wasn't, because I've always known who he is, but we're all hypocrites. You know, now people that are outraged that R. Kelly, but they weren't outraged when they were stepping in the name of love. You know,
right.
You know, everybody was, step in the name of love. You know, and it's like, really? Okay, when that song came out, you know, the P tape was out. You know, at the same time. So it's like this selective outrage that kind of like. I don't get it, because that man has always shown you who he is from the very beginning.
This is true.
It's not como te dije. It's not like this was like Michael Bublé or John Legend or, you know, Josh Groban or even Justin Timberlake. You know, one of these guys that, you know, has kind of like a clean cut image.
Right.
And then find out.
R. Kelly has always reveled in the raunch.
I mean,
that's his image. His image was always, it wasn't even sexy R&B guy. It was, I'm going to throw you down and fuck you.
Yeah. Dirty.
Like that, yeah.
With the exception, I Believe I Can Fly, of course, which we're.
Well, you know. We don't know what that's really about. Maybe that's where they got this.
No, but I think people need to be honest with themselves, and people need to be honest and say, okay, there was things that I overlooked, and there was things that or
I can separate the music from the person.
Well, no,
I'm saying no, but I'm saying like
I could separate. I personally separate the music from the person. That's like saying, which we've talked about this before in previous episodes in season 1. You know, should they ban the Cosby Show? Oh hell no, because that is a piece of work. That's a piece of art. You know, of television history. So you're gonna get rid of the whole show over the actions of one person? You know,
and affect the livelihood of an entire cast.
Exactly. You know, and especially a show that was so iconic. But again,
ain't nobody beating down Tempest Bledsoe's door.
It's the hypocrisy of like people that kept supporting him despite not one, not two, but multiple allegations over and over and over again that were very damning. But now in public, but now all of a sudden it's like, oh my God. I don't know. I tell you, I saw the document. I ate it up. And I'm like, there is nothing here that I don't know. There's nothing here that I don't know. I don't know. I guess maybe because, again, I read the Source magazine a lot.
You were that part of the pie in their media kit that showed the white demographic.
Yeah, I'm not white.
Well, Hispanic, non-black demographic.
Non-black. Anyway,
hablando de documentaries. Have you seen the Fire Festival?
Mijito, that was the next thing I was going to talk about.
I haven't seen both of them. I only saw the one on Hulu.
Oh, then you haven't seen the one on Netflix.
I haven't seen the one on Netflix.
So you have not...
Have you seen both of them?
I haven't seen the one on Hulu.
Ooh.
But you haven't seen the sucking dick meme.
I saw it because of your Instagram.
It is amazing.
I saw it because of your Instagram.
Amazing. Okay, listeners. We're going to talk about the Fry Festival.
Fire For those of you who haven't seen either document, this is great because we can talk about the documentaries to each other. Press pause, go watch one of them, come back, and discuss.
Okay, so let's give you a quick background on the Fire Festival. The Fire Festival was in April of 2017.
Yeah.
And it was that festival that was going to be held in the Exumas, Bahamas. And it was going to be a luxury music festival that was going to have the biggest influencers and celebrities.
The Coachella of the Caribbean.
The Coachella of the Caribbean with the biggest influencers and celebrities there are. I mean, you could, party with Kendall Jenner and Gigi Hadid if that's your thing.
Your bag.
Yeah. Anyway, and
I don't have anything against Gigi.
Whatever.
No, I'm just saying I don't think of her.
I don't think of her, good or bad.
There you go.
That's how relevant she is in my life. Is she the one who dated The Weeknd? Or was it Bella?
I have no idea.
Well, I like The Weeknd. I freaking love.
There's two of them.
I love The Weeknd. Abel is my guy. So anyway, and we're talking about Weeknd the singer. Although I do love The Weeknd.
We had a nice long weekend.
I can feel my face when I'm with you.
I love that song.
I love that song too. Did I tell you what I thought that song was about?
Oh God.
I initially thought it was about oral sex. But
I have so many questions that we're not going to get into. But I have so many questions.
This has been a raunchy episode.
I know. This is like, yes.
Anyway, so the Fire
it's
Festival.
the remix to Pero, let me tell you.
So the Fire Festival. And it was supposed to be this like ultra luxurious, ultra trendy, ultra hip, you know.
Yeah, Coachella of the Caribbean.
Right.
Is the best
and people were going to go and, you know, put it all over Instagram and blah, 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 blah. Well. Cut to reality. And basically, they were stuck in FEMA tents eating ham and cheese sandwiches.
There was no ham.
No, cheese sandwiches. Just cheese sandwiches. But there was no ham.
There was pigs, but there was no ham.
And wilted lettuce. So, obviously, the whole thing was a big disaster. Lawsuits were filed left and right.
Turns out the guy was laundering, not even laundering money. It was wire fraud.
So, well, I mean obviously,
it was
at
a
the
house
moment,
of cards.
When this happened, we didn't know. So this was such a big deal, and it was so relevant that Hulu released a documentary.
Released it, yeah.
What's the Hulu one called?
Fire Fraud.
And the one in Netflix is called Fire, the Greatest Party That Never Happened. So basically, in the Netflix one, which is the one that I saw, and you'll talk about the Hulu one,
Yep.
and the Netflix one, you know, they talk about the background, how Ja Rule was involved, and, you know, why anybody thought Ja Rule would be the man to call to...
It's a celebrity.
He is a celebrity, but it's Ja Rule.
Well, okay, so I will say this. Because actually, a couple of weeks ago, I think I texted you. I was out having drinks with some friends, and they were like, "Oh, some friends of ours just moved to Miami. We want, you know, to meet new people, so we went. Whatever." One of the guys actually used to work for Fire.
Yeah,
that was one of the guys that we met, and it turns out the whole idea of Fire was supposed to be an app at first.
Yes, where you could book talent.
And so this kind of spun out of that.
This was going to be the launch event.
Of the app, exactly.
To the app.
He worked on the app side of
things. Well,
they
explained that in the documentary.
Yeah.
And they also explained in the documentary how it sold out immediately. And the reason it sold out immediately is because, and I don't know if they do this in the Hulu documentary, when they were planning the festival,
the event.
Billy, what was his name? Billy.
I want to say something not with an F, but Billy. I want to say McFarlane, but I know that's not right.
I think it is. Who organized this event, and he's the one who got in big trouble. He got the top supermodels, Gigi and Bella Hadid, Kendall Jenner. He got all the top supermodels and all these like party people, and he flew
Billy
them
McFarlane.
over. He flew them over to the Bahamas, and they had a video crew. And for like a few days, they had these parties, and they had yachts, and they had
it was a photo shoot.
It was like ultra looks, you know, luxury lifestyle, and they filmed all this. And this is the image that they sold as to what was going to be the Fire Festival.
Fake imagery on social media, you say?
And then all these influencers, so then they contacted the world's top influencers.
Yeah.
So then on a certain date, all these models and all these influencers posted on their Instagram just an orange block, where they were like, "Oh, see you at the Fire Festival."
Yeah. So far, so good. We're coordinating.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then they sold out within days, and then you could go to.
Here's the thing: they sold out, but not really, because what happened was what they started doing was so that he could, you know, rob Peter to pay Paul. Is they would say, "Okay, we have 10 suites."
Yeah.
But after people would buy 2, they would be like, "We're sold out."
Right.
So that it would create more of a buzz, and then people were buying the general admission ones because they're like, "Shit, I couldn't get the suite. Oh, I'll just pay this."
But they did sell out.
But that's the thing, is that it depends how you look at it. Because they didn't sell out because they didn't have the things that they said that they had.
Right, but they did sell out in terms of the admission, the people that were there. And they were putting on their website these like layouts and floor plans of these like cabanas and these like luxurious tents that people are going to be staying on in paradise. In Pablo Escobar's old island.
Private island.
No, what I thought was funny that they're like, do you want to live? Their catch was,
that was
like,
a selling point.
Like, oh, live like Pablo Escobar. And I'm like,
on the run from the law?
When did living like Pablo Escobar become like a novelty? Like, I don't know about you, but things did not end well for him.
No. I mean, at least El Chapo met Kate de Castillo.
And, build it and they will come. And people came, although they didn't build it.
The problem is they didn't build it.
And everybody, this guy... In the documentary, it shows that he got like the best PR companies, like the best
Fuck Jerry guys,
the best talent, to work with him, and all these people who had so many years of experience.
There were red flags being raised.
They little by little they started realizing, wait a minute, either these people are genius or they're fucking like lunatics, right? And little by little,
because the time frame alone
was crazy.
They were putting this together in like 5 months.
Yes. And there was no infrastructure on the island.
Even if there had been.
There was no electricity. There was no running water. There was no plumbing. Nothing. And this is what they were selling. Because they were selling a luxury, experience. And then, at least in the Netflix documentary, there's one guy that said that he so believed in what this guy was selling that he said, you know what? Maybe this will be like Woodstock. Because Woodstock, nobody talks about the fact that people were stuck in lines for days. Nobody talks about the fact that people were in like mud and shit for the entire weekend. That there was no water. That there was no.
It's still historic.
That there were no toilets. That people didn't have where to sleep. But when you think of Woodstock, you think about how iconic it was. Right. And I'm like, yeah, motherfucker. But the difference, Madonna effect. But the difference is that people are paying $15,000 to $20,000 to be here, and you're selling this as an ultra luxury experience, right? Where you're gonna party with Kendall Jenner again, if that's your thing. And bueno. So shit hits the ceiling, and they're now a few days out,
and this is not happening.
And nothing is set. There are going to be like 15,000, 20,000 people coming. And this place...
They don't even have water.
They don't have water. Okay, so in the Netflix documentary, the pinnacle of the Netflix documentary and what everybody's talking about. And when I saw it, I did a, oh my...
Total jaw drop.
God. Oh. There's this guy named Andy.
Okay.
He's an older gentleman, older, maybe 50s or whatever. Okay. And he appears in the whole documentary, giving his confessional. And he's one of the people that told Billy, the organizer, his concerns and how this was not going to happen and everything that was wrong with it.
Right.
And he's been I think he's in PR or whatever, and he's been in the industry for over 30 years.
So this isn't somebody who's just starting out.
No,
he knows what he's doing.
30 years. He knows what he's doing. He's been his company is has a reputation. I mean, he's very well known, and he's like, I'm so involved in it at this point, even though I voiced my concerns, that I have to do whatever I have to do to to make this happen because my reputation is at stake.
Keep kicking that can down the street.
Right. Yeah. So I can't walk away at this point. I have to do everything I can to make this work. And he's like working day and night. He's going nuts, whatever. A few days before the festival, Billy contacts him. And again, Billy's the mastermind. And he tells him that there's 4 huge containers in the port filled with Evian water. Okay. And this is going to be the water that they were going to be give their patrons. Water, the source of all life.
You can't drink salt water. No.
And it was imperative that they get the water released because it was at customs. And
they did not have money to pay.
They did not have money at this point.
Yeah.
They had run out of money. So Billy tells Andy, we don't have money. I think the customs fee was like in the tens of thousands of dollars. Okay. It was like $175,000 that in cash that they had to pay customs, and they didn't have the money. And again, this was for the water. This isn't for the 20,000 people that were going to come in.
Yeah.
And Billy calls this guy Andy, and he tells him, I need for you to meet with the guy in customs and tell him that you don't have money and that you'll, for him to release the water and you'll suck his dick.
For water?
And Andy's like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, I need for you to meet with the guy in customs. I already set it up to go and suck his dick. And he's like, wait. So I have been a professional for 30 years. I have everything in stake on the line, and you need, because he goes, you are our fearless gay leader, you need to go and make this happen and take one for the team, and you need to go and suck his dick. And he's like, but I'm a professional, I've been doing this for over 30 years.
And he just whored him out.
You know what he said? He's like, I was so gung-ho of making this happen that I went to my hotel, I brushed my teeth, I took Listerine, I went to mouthwash, and I was like, I was gonna go to the guy's house to suck his dick, because he's like, we had no water and my reputation was at stake. When I saw that, I was like, oh my God. So
I
now
thought he had like the wherewithal to be like, well, if I'm gonna suck a dick, I might as well have minty fresh breath.
So this has now become a meme. But ultimately,
I saw the meme, but
I'm not gonna say what happens at the end. Whether he did or didn't.
I don't think they got water, so I'm assuming he did not have to get on his knees.
But just
the biggest difference between the two documentaries though is that, I hate to interrupt you, but the Hulu one has this guy Billy.
Yes, that's why I want to watch it, because he's in it.
That man cannot stop lying.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot stop lying. At this point, when he did the interview, I believe he had already been convicted on wire fraud. Mm-hmm. All this had come to light. And he just still continues to, it reminded me of like...
He's delusional.
Yeah, it reminded me of the VH1 Behind the Music with Selena. Mm-hmm. Where like Yolanda's just like, no, the box, it's in the box has all the answers. He just kept kind of putting it off and like roundabout, and it's like, dude, just admit it, just say like, you know what, I fucked up, I was a con man, and that's all there is to it. Like, did you try to find out about
the Hulu documentary talk about like then the business he tried to do,
the business he had? Yes, after
yes, with
it also talked about the business before. It talked about the business before,
right?
Which,
the card,
which I read about it, and I still don't understand what the benefit would have been to anybody.
I think, which is why I wanted to bring this up. I mean, we're sharing kind of stories with the documentary, and they're kind of funny, and to watch, it's kind of interesting.
It's a little shot of Freud.
But the purpose why I wanted to bring this up, I think this is a perfect example, and you and I have talked about this before, of the power of persuasion that social media has over people, and the farceness of what an influencer is. Yeah. Because all these people that jumped on board for this were simply doing it because they were following influencers. Right. Go party with Kendall Jenner. Really? Did you think that Kendall Jenner was going to go party with you at this thing? Right. And if she did, do you think she was going to stay, even if it was in a luxurious tent? Kendall Jenner was going to be chartered a yacht and,
stay out,
probably go out for like 1 hour, take a few selfies, they'd be like, here I am at the Fire Festival, and that's it.
Yeah.
Actually,
introduce a band.
In the Netflix documentary, they say that Kendall Jenner's involvement was simply to repost the orange thing, and she got paid $250,000 just to hit post. Yeah. Right? So I think it's the bigger picture of the times we live in, and I don't know if this is relevant to millennials, to zillennials. We're zillennials, right?
We're zillennials?
I don't know who it's relevant to, but the fact that it's like monkey see, monkey do. My favorite influencers are going to this festival in the middle of the Bahamas that Ja Rule is hosting. I don't know too much about it, but if they're going, then it must be good for me.
I mean, that clearly only applies when it's you and I. I mean, because if we go to an event, listeners, you should come. It's a fun event. We probably will be there. Chances are.
No. We will be there, and we will give hugs and
exactly.
And,
we'll help you pick out the best croqueta.
Yes. But I mean, I think it's the sign of the times that people are so easily influenced, and the fact that
this wasn't cheap. That's the thing that kills me.
It's not cheap. And
it's not like, oh, come to this $10 party.
Because here's the thing, and you and I have talked about this before, whether it's in our own social media, the way, you and I have a different...
Also, for the record, you don't get to complain about crushing student loan debt, and I don't have a job in the economy, blah, blah, and then you drop $10,000 to go party on the beach.
You and I have a different approach in terms of our own personal media, social media. I have more of an aesthetic approach. You have more of like a humorous kind of like poking fun of myself, and that's fine. But I think that we both know and understand that most of the stuff out there is people's edited version of themselves. And I'm guilty of that too, and so are you. Yeah. But then there's people, that...
I always say I'm all smokes and mirrors.
But there's one thing, kind of like, okay, I'm not going to put this bad picture of me or whatever. Then creating an image that is completely false. Or completely exaggerated, right? Because I've seen people recycle, like on Instagram, recycle vacation pictures. And it makes it look like they're on vacation again.
Really?
It's like, really? Oh, you're in Paris again. Oh, wow. Your hair is the same length it was when you went to Paris 2 years ago. Like, wow. Like, what a coincidence, right? And
ladies and gentlemen, that's also the entire career of Rita Ora.
Or people that, like, my personal favorite are people that do TBTs to, like, when they traveled the world or they went to some exotic destination, last month.
Oh, I hate that.
Right.
I feel like there should be, if you're going to do a TBT or an FBF, it's got to be like at least 6 months.
Yeah. So, it's kind of like, or the people that are constantly posting travel videos and it's like, really, really, sweetheart, when do you work? Unless you're a trust fund baby, it's like, when do you work? But I know that it's fake, and I know it's manipulation.
There's one person in particular who I feel is very guilty of that.
Do we know this person?
Well, we know this person. I don't know if you feel that way about this person's profile, but I'll off mic.
Okay. Oh, no, I'm curious who it is.
I'll tell you who I think.
But I see that time and time again. But again, I think we know that it's a farceness. But apparently, a lot of other people don't, and they're willing to spend $20,000 to
$20,000. Again, you don't get to bitch
go hang out with Kendall Jenner. If
you
that's
don't get to complain about not having money or a job or prospects, and then spend $20,000. Like, no, you don't get to dig yourself in a hole and then complain you fell in.
That nowadays, everybody's an entrepreneur. Nobody works at the call center anymore. Oh, what are you? I'm an entrepreneur. Like
us, we're entrepreneurs and influencers.
In the Netflix episode, at the end, and the documentary, and at the end they interviewed a bunch of people that went, were scammed.
The festival goers.
Yeah, and like 4 or 5 of them were entrepreneurs. I'm like, oh look, they're entrepreneurs too.
It's the new avocado toast.
So that
that wraps it up.
Wait, our last Coke of the Desert.
Oh, that's true. Our last soda of the desert.
We can't forget our last soda of the desert in 2019.
That's true.
So go.
Oh God, I don't have one yet.
What do you mean you don't have a last soda of the desert?
I've been thinking about it and racking my head, and I can't think of one right now. But go ahead. Do you have one?
I do.
I'll have one by the time you're done.
I do.
I guarantee.
My last Coke of the desert goes to not a person but an entity. It goes to
Lady Gaga's Enigma?
No, it goes to the government shutdown.
Oh, so it's a gasless soda.
Yes, this is a gasless soda. It goes to the government shutdown. I don't give a F who shut down. Well, I know I do care who shut down the government.
But at the end of the day, it's the fact that it's shut down.
It's shut down and still shut down, and there's people who can't pay their mortgage, and there's people who can't pay their rent.
Right, but they can talk to their landlords and babysit.
So my Coke of the Desert goes to our politicians. Get your shit together, people. Yeah. Although, I still believe one person is to blame, but we're not going to get controversial now. I'm tired.
It's been a long week.
It's been a long week. It is Beto Friday. Hashtag Beto Friday.
Hashtag Beto Friday. It's been a long week.
You know what? Can I nominate someone for you?
You can. I think I have one.
I think you should give your glass of the Coke, your last Coke of the Desert to Sally Jesse Raphael.
Well, she has responded to me on Twitter several times.
And she's a national treasure with her glasses. And if she would be relevant today, she would probably have a Rooms to Go furniture line.
You think so?
Yeah.
Not City Furniture?
No, Sally Jesse at home.
Oh, mira.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's responded to you on Twitter, so...
like twice.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to give it to Sally Jesse Raphael.
Yeah. See, I knew. This is how well I know you.
You know what?
This is how
You're
I know
right.
you.
You're right.
So,
thank you, Sally Jesse Raphael.
Sally Jesse Raphael.
This soda's for you.
and
you know what the beauty is? When we tag her, you know she'll respond.
Absolutely. Maybe we could have her on the show. Anyway, that's wishful thinking. So that was our first episode of season 2. It feels nice, right?
It does. It feels. I've missed you.
I've missed you
have
too.
missed our weekly.
I feel that this
chats.
episode was a little all over the place, kind of like our first episode.
But because it was so much. Like
there was so much. We hadn't recorded in over a month, but we'll be back to normal soon. Soon enough.
We'll try.
So everybody, thank you so much for taking this ride along with us.
And before we go,
the secret word.
Secret word.
No, not secret word. The word that you have to DM us for is aguacate.
Yes,
not avocado, but aguacate.
Spelling doesn't count because I don't know where an acento goes there.
Aguacate. The first 3 people will get the t-shirts from...
the first 3 people each get one of our 3 t-shirts.
Yes. So, there you go. DM us, people. So, as always, we hope you listened, laughed, and learned. And grab your pastelito, your croqueta, and your jupiña. And thank you so much.
All right, caballero. Bye.